Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brandon, also known as Branmatt, and I'm here for a StarCraft II replay for the recently added player C to Team Liquid, who is playing under a different account here. I think this is on the North American ladder, so he's playing under a different account, but he will be spawning up here in the top right-hand corner of Cloud Kingdom as the red Terran player. And down in our second and only other spawn location on the map is the terribly feared and well-known barcode player, spawning as our blue protoss player, if I did not yet mention that. And yeah, just a little bit about our friend LiquidSea. This name is going to confuse me because it's not saying C, but LiquidSea has just been added to Team Liquid just recently. This is part of a replay pack that they put out, a part of his announcement. He was playing against a few different Team Liquid players in a few different ladder matches. So they put this out, and I grabbed it and just checked it out. Again, I'm casting this blindly. Every replay I cast blindly. So this will be interesting to see what happens here, and we're going to be able to really see his skill and see what he's able to do. I have never casted C onto my channel just yet. He hasn't, as far as I know, had many replays of him casted. He has always been out there in the community, but never really that well known. I think he was part of Kespa before actually jumping on board with Team Liquid. But so congratulations to him. If you notice anything with my mic, it's because I have to use the built-in mic on my computer. Something's going weird with the one that I typically use for better recordings, but to make sure that I can continue uploading videos, I had to use that one, which isn't bad. It still records fairly well, but if you notice that you can hear mouse clicks better or anything like that, it's simply because of the fact that, yeah, now I have the built-in mic recording. I'm doing my best to make sure that my typical mic can get repaired and I can start using that again soon. But just so you guys know that, just if you notice the sound quality difference. But now our barcode player is going to be moving up here in the top right base to scout out LiquidSea. He's just going to see the barracks. This is a wall-in. Typically, most people think that wall-ins don't happen in higher leagues, but as we can see, it happens here. It's not like it never happens, but it's a lot rarer. They'll typically build this first supply depot like in between their refinery or something and a barracks back here, but we're going to see that he is going to go for that wall-in. It is a very safe play just in case of 6 pools, or in the case of Protoss, they can't double gate proxy you or anything like this. So another scout going back out. We do have one already out here with that Marine, so that Marine is going to completely deny any taking of that Zelnaga tower, and we do have an engineering bay going down here for C, so he's going to be completely denying this. He's going to probably build it. How many seconds does it take? 35, so he's probably going to build it to the 34 second. Never mind, he is denied there, but typically you'll build it up to about the last second, and then you'll cancel it just as it gets on the lowest health to deny that expansion as long as possible. Nonetheless, it has quite a bit of health. Was able to get up far enough that it is able to deny that expansion for quite some time, and it is canceled there. So this expansion will be delayed, and our barcode player is throwing down his first expansion now, going for a fairly early expand, but 2 expansions of LiquidSea coming down just now. So wow, he's going to go for heavy expansions. He can take this third here and can also take the second down. We can see that he already has Marines at the bottom of the ramp preparing to take that base. Over in our Protoss players, if we look at the units tab, we see that he only has a Stalker and a Sentry. Just finishing that Sentry now. I'm not exactly sure where that Stalker is. I think, yeah, it's over here. The Stalker's just being microed a little to poke around, see what's happening. Really, I don't think he's gotten much scouting information. If we look into, I think his view is this one. Nope, wrong camera view. Yeah, he's only seen this wall in, so he hasn't really gotten much information. He does know that the units are up here in the front, so he's been denied scouting. So our Terran player making sure that that scouting does not happen. And if we look over here, Nexus just about completing. We do have his sentries, so he probably will be going for quite a few sentries with that expansion. Only has 1 gate and will be getting up his robo as well. And this third or second base here, this third one is finishing up. The second base will be thrown down here. Third base again will probably be here, unless if he tries to go for some super secret expansion. We'll see. He is turning into an orbital though, which does kind of signal that he would be going for here. If you go for a secret, you might throw it as a planetary fortress, so even if it is scouted, it can stay alive for quite some time. You know, a secret expansion over here or something like that. or if you're feeling bold, you can go down to your opponent's base and throw it down there, which is still very viable. And if we look over here, just still some sentries. And if we look, he has 3 racks now. He has a total of 3. He's getting that tech lab onto one of these racks that allow him to start getting out marauders, which can be quite damaging, especially the stalkers, and will allow him to start getting research, more importantly, for stim, combat shield, and if he ever does get marauders, he will be able to get that concussive shell upgrade as well. If we, these sentries are pushing out here to the Zelnaga tower, we'll be able to see what's going on. And if we look at C's vision, he hasn't seen much either. So both of these players are fairly blind to as what their opponents are doing, or each other is doing. But this expansion now is done here. This might just be used for now as a macro kind of expansion, where he's just going to be pumping SCVs out of it and going to use it for throwing down mules, which is perfectly fine. It'll get up your economy fairly quick. And this observer moving out, this seems to be spotted because these Marines are following it pretty closely. As soon as we have a scan, we can probably expect to see that used. If we check his hotkey, we can't use it, but we do see he does not have energy on any of his orbitals. It's so weird for me trying to use other people's hotkey setups. I have a completely different one to this, so you're always looking down there in the bottom trying to figure out what their hotkey setup is. I mean, even here, you'll see that the 2 nexus, no nexus here, so it's different. It takes some time getting used to. Now, he's going to be throwing down that missile turret, which will make sure that that observer cannot get back in and get too much scouting information. Obviously, he can get in, but it will probably be sacrificed. And we do see the pylons being thrown down here. It is a proxy pylon, but it's off to the side. Might be defending a possible hidden base down here in the bottom corner. Not exactly hidden, but it is kinda. It would be hidden because the opponent would not know about it. He would expect a third here, typically. But if he's hidden down here in this base, it's gonna make it a lot longer until C actually finds out that he's there. So he's just building up his economy at this point. If we check the income tab, he has definitely an advantage lead over our barcode player in terms of minerals, but only by about 200-300 minerals, I would say, and about the same in terms of gas. Factory being lifted up, and he will probably be getting heavy medevacs. Now we do see that he has a total of how many now? I think it's 5. Yeah, 5 barracks. So he will be able to start moving out here very soon. Does have these Marines out. They do not look to have combat shield just yet. Salvaging that bunker, and this third base is going down now as well. That probe will immediately scout that third base out and transferring a lot of SCVs here, so start mining that base, and we will see that these oh, whoops, pressing the space bar, wrong button. Accidentally putting my elbow down on that, but we do see a Colossus out here, which both players don't have any upgrades. So, I mean, it's, oh, actually, he has 1-1, so this will be very not too good. This Colossus here will be able to deal quite a bit of damage, now has 1-1. Okay, wow, so they're both getting 1-1 fairly quickly. If we check, does he have that extended thermal lance? Where is that bay? No, he does not yet have extended thermal lance, so it'll be able to deal that damage to the bio force, but it'll be quite the threat. That force there is fairly large, and these 2 medevacs to heal that up. Certainly not enough for all those Marines, but able to do quite a bit of damage, and Guardian Shield going up, throwing down those force fields. Good force fields, pulling that army in half. Those Zealots pulling up behind, being fairly useless, I would have to say. And just so many storms coming out. These storms have been able to do very well as well, and that is canceled just in the nick of time. And this pylon was used for warping in those Zealots, being able to warp in the behind. In my personal opinion, did not do as much as they would have hoped. It might have actually warped in over here. But this server base now has to be replanted, and this will give extra time for C to take the lead in terms of minerals. And so that force is able to do fairly well, but good force fields by him there, and then able to throw down those storms for the remaining of the force. So good defense, but was not enough to stop that third from being canceled. And this force is pulling back out again. This observer will probably spot it this time, will it? Unless if he goes around the back here. No, it will be pushing out, so this observer will immediately see this force coming out. We'll have to see how he responds. Immediately pulling back his army, stopping, pursuing that factory there, and these units coming out, a great storm there, just so much damage out on this bio army, and this army will be split up fairly quickly, but that Colossus dealing so much damage, this force will probably be ended very soon, and there we go, all those forces are completely wiped out, and those medevacs attempting to pull back, but a ton of damage, able to keep that third base this time without any problem. And a fourth base now for C being thrown down, so he, again, definitely has the economic lead here. If we check again, he is still ahead, and now in both terms of minerals and gas, so he's able to keep up there. This force, wow, just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, being very aggressive, keeping his opponent on his toes. And though that first time he needed to cancel that expansion, this time he's been doing very well. Again, he's had those great force fields. Those force fields will be especially helpful, especially with these zealots. These zealots will be able to chop that army and cause a bunch of havoc there, and storms as well. And this army will receive a ton of damage as soon as being pulled in. Force fields being thrown down, cutting that force in half. Those zealots heading to the front and doing a ton of damage. These forces pulling up from the back, has to pull back so many marauders, and that's going to cause a lot of havoc. That Immortal is probably going to go down, being pulled back, and this Colossus needs to be pulled back right now. And no, it will die off at the last second, able to just barely pick off that Colossus. An Archon coming out now as well. That Archon will be able to do quite a bit of damage to the bio units. That fourth base being finished up now for C as well. So C will be able to start mining from that soon. His first base is probably just about mined out. Being able to make sure that he transfers those workers quite often has a mistake here. Only one worker on that gas. And in this late of the game, it's probably not a strategy. Just probably a mistake. So we see that this force is pulling out again. And our barcode player pulling forward, hitting a lot of those medevacs, which can cause a lot of problems with the gaining health back on those bio army. And those medevacs, 3 left, 2 left, and they're both on low health. 1 medevac left. So this force here is taking a ton of damage as well. All those medevacs down, so that's going to cause a lot of havoc in terms of trying to respawn the health here or regain the health on this bio army. And a fourth base being thrown down. This fourth base will not be thrown in a secure position in the front here. Instead, will be thrown down in the bottom right-hand corner to make sure that his opponent won't scout it for some time. If it is scouted, he can always pull out his army. He's going to keep it probably around this third base, or maybe at his natural, but we'll be able to pull over there and defend it. But this third base is certainly going to be tucked away there and might be able to start mining very soon. But again, certainly behind in economy. If we see that C starts picking up a fifth base here, I would not be surprised. He's just so ahead at this point. This medevacs will be headed out. They're fully loaded with Marines and Marauders. Will probably be dropping in the back here. 1 cannon there to defend it, but at this point I don't think it will be enough, especially with the upgrades on his army, which is 2-2. These cannons will probably be falling, as it does not even have any shield upgrades just yet. That medevac will probably not fall, and that cannon is going to go down. Stimming there will probably take out quite a few workers. Quick response by our barcode player, quickly pulling back, making sure that very few probes were lost there. And this Nexus might even come down. This force being pulled back, he will have to load back up into those medevacs and get out of there as quickly as possible. Few of those zealots able to pick off a few different units, and all that poor Marauder being there and sacrificed. Poor guy. But this force also multi-pronged attack, pulling down here at this third base, attempting to take that out, but was denied. Quick response again by our barcode player, being able to play very well in this game. And it's another drop, just back and forth, back and forth. All these probes seem to be transferred down to this third base, bringing them back to this base here. These stalkers will be here to deal with any sort of drops. We'll be able to pick off those medevacs. And we see the pylons is going to start going down. He will need to defend this fourth base to keep up his economy. This could be very problematic if he does not keep this base up. And over here, again, C is going to be here with just keep building up his force. He has a ton of barracks, constantly producing, certainly has the income for it. If we look up in the top right hand corner just how many minerals and gas he has, doesn't look like all that much, but it's because he's constantly spending it on newer and newer units and making sure to constantly build up that army. Our protoss player seems a little low on economy, and also making sure that his probes are transferred as well. This army here is going to be fairly threatening, but if C so chooses, he can head up here into the natural, maybe even the main, and cause quite a bit of damage. But that there's some scouting there, being able to see that this army is headed this direction, and full-on engagement here. This could be a really problematic. C might actually lose his army here. That Archon doing a ton of damage. Those Zealots taking a ton of damage as well. That Colossus is going to be taking damage from that one last lonely Viking there, and we'll end up losing that Colossus. C pulling out and causing a ton of damage. And at this point, our barcode player has to pull back. Not enough energy on that High Templar or a few High Templars now, so he's going to be able to throw down quite a few storms, which could cause quite a few problems. Throwing up that sensor tower to make sure that that fourth base is not in danger. And heading down with this army, we do see that the probe transfer did happen to this fourth base. This army is going to be heading out. This factory hasn't really moved anywhere this entire game. And he'll be pulling back with that scan, making sure that there's no observers there or anything like this. Ghost will be able to make sure that they EMP and get the shields down on that army. And he's going to be checking there, stimming, going to be heading right up there into the third. Where is his army? Not even responding, pulling back. This third base might go down. He's going to be probably target firing, and the third base, will it go down? It's fully engaging the army. If just a few more shots here, and this third base could go down, hindering the economy yet again of our Protoss player, but he's just so far ahead, this entire army will be wiped out. Only 2 Colossus remaining, trying to warp in more zones, but I do not think this will be enough, and GG. Congratulations to our barcode player, to both our barcode player and to LiquidSea, playing very well. Our barcode player was very quick there on responding, making sure that his bases last as long as possible. But C able to keep on a lot of pressure, deny that third base once, and just cause a bunch of havoc there. He even threw down his fifth base right before this replay ended, but again, just great play from LiquidSea there. Congratulations to C for getting signed on to Team Liquid. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content. Again, sorry for the mic. I'm going to do my best to make sure that my other mic is repaired for that sound quality that you got before. Again, this isn't bad, or at least from my testing, it isn't bad, but a little different in terms of sound. So thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, like the video, maybe favorite, share it around with your friends, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.